Hey everyone, it's me. Hopefully you guys can see me and hear me. So, we are going to do this today. And it's a Merry Crunchman Turkish snack box. If you haven't seen some of my others, love to get these for my kids, which then I get to try, of course. Can't beat that, right? While I tell you my story of my DNA test and how I found out I had a brother. So I have my mom's side, and I have a brother, and I have my dad's side, and I have two sisters. And that I know of. So I did DNA. If you've never done them, they're kind of cool. Some people just want to see what they are. I also like to look at the family aspect. And I had this person show up as a niece or first cousin, the way they do it. Well, I knew that I didn't have this person. So, long story short, we got in contact with each other. She was very young. And started trying to figure out, we're racking our brains, right? Of who or how we were related. It turned out, long story short, that we all worked together. Her mom, my mom, and I all tried to work together to figure out how this was possible. And it turned out that her dad's mom was from Vietnam. And guess who was there? My dad had been there way before I was thought of. Let's try one of these. It smells like peanut butter. It's not a pretzel. It's not cookie. I don't know. It's good. It has a little peanut taste, and maybe there is a peanut. Anyway, so, yeah. So, she and I were fine, knowing that I was maybe her aunt and she was my niece. Like, we had no problem with it. We thought it was pretty damn cool. I mean, let's be honest, right? My dad had always wanted a son. And obviously he loved his daughters, don't get me wrong, but he wanted a son, and he loved my kids. But he was hoping, before he died, that he would have a son. So, she finally talked to her dad, who had been very sickly already. And he was like, nope, because he was raised by, it sounds like a wonderful man. And he's like, nope, he would not even think that someone else could be his dad. So, you can imagine, that was difficult. I'm sure for him. I mean, who wouldn't it be this man who raised you, now you're being like, by the way, this might not be your real dad. It tastes like those little spiral cookie thingies that you can get like in a canister. I think it has like Nutella or something. Anyway, so she and I become very close. And at that point, she's already talking to my dad on the phone, who had a lot of health problems, and so my dad wasn't doing the best at that point either. And, but her dad refused to do a DNA. So we were kind of stuck where we were, based on what we knew. So it came to the point that her dad got sicker and sicker, and he did pass away, unfortunately, before I or my dad got to talk to him or know him. She didn't really know how to approach her grandma, which you can imagine. To be like, by the way, your husband isn't dad's, But seeing pictures of him, and just stories, I definitely could tell that he was my dad's. My dad was very excited, but he did get to know her, and I'm very thankful for that. So when he, his demise, she was able to get some DNA and run the test, and it did come back that he was my brother, which is awesome. I mean, how cool is that, really? It just looks like a cookie. You always have to eat it like an Oreo, right? And this tastes like a regular cookie. And because of that, we knew for sure. I'm sure one of her hardest problems was talking to her grandmother. I can imagine. How do you tell someone that? Anyways, we have met quite a couple of times, she and I. She and I have become close. I am very thankful that she's in my life and that, the DNA showed us and we have found each other. She's a very busy person, but I really appreciate the relationship we have. I'm very thankful for her. I love having another niece. But I won't lie, so my other family, they were very questionable, they questioned us. Obviously, you can imagine, especially some of my siblings. I think they thought she was going to take everything away from them. It looks like a pastry. I don't really want to pull the whole thing out, but I will for you guys. It's like a pastry that crumbles very easily. I think some of my family thought that she was going to take everything away from them. Which was never the case, and even if so, I would have been fine with it myself. But that's not, I'm the one that reached out to her. I'm not going to say that my sister did not get mad at me and other people in my family. But now she seems to have a close relationship with some of them. And I'm very thankful for that. Even if she doesn't, I still love her and hope to be close with her. And I know my dad adored her. And so actually the day he passed away, he did get to talk to her one last time, which I was really excited about. So this looks like, I forgot this one. Sorry. I don't look like that. Anyways, so through DNA, I have found a niece, a brother, which was kind of cool because my dad got to pass away knowing that he did have a son out there, which is the one thing he hoped to do before he passed. So that was kind of cool. Then not all my sisters knew my dad was theirs, and so they had to do a DNA test. And one of my older sisters, who when I was a little girl, I loved her. Because my sisters weren't raised by my dad. They were raised by other men in their lives. And so, this sister never knew which one was her real dad. And so she did also do a DNA test. And it came back that my dad was her dad. We are not close, I hate to say. Well, my siblings and I, the only one I'm close to is my brother. And a few of my nieces and nephews. It's like a cookie with, not caramel, but it's like sticky like caramel. And it's not, like a prune almost. So yeah, so that is, but yeah, my brother and I are very close. My brother from my mom, he is who I call when I need something. He's the one I lean on. He's the one I grew up with. I think these are like poppers. And they're Coca-Cola flavor. Very sweet. And then here's another popper. So yeah, so that is my, I remember being in high school and my gym team, I would take gym with my niece because we're basically the same age. I think we are. Maybe a couple months off. Again, poppers, that tastes like strawberry, very sweet. And we had our gym teacher so confused by the time we were done because we're explaining how she is my niece since she's a little older than me, and how her mom is my sister, but we don't have the same mom. And by the time we were done, she's like, I give up. I don't even understand this. Stop talking. But who doesn't have a crazy family, right? So here is some more poppers. I'm not going to open these. They're fruit flavored because we know they're going to be sweet. We all know what poppers are, right? Oh, no, these I might keep. These are watermelon poppers. I bet those are good. So, but I still have more treats. So, yes. So I would say that has marshmallow. I really don't like marshmallow. But yeah, so, who doesn't have a crazy family? If you don't have a crazy family, you need to get one because they're fun. I promise. So yeah, so that is how I ended up with a brother who I didn't know about. And these are wafer cookies, I guess. Yeah. I'm not a big, I like them, but they don't always like me. Yeah, it was funny because when we first saw about my brother and found out about him, my mom thought, because there was no names in common. This looks like it could be a little jawbreaker, which again I'm not going to open because this is my kid's. He's nice and letting me use it. So when my mom first saw, and there was one surname in common, but it's kind of like Smith. It's everywhere. Every state, everywhere, right? So my mom originally it's like, did one of my parents have a affair that I didn't know about? Like, we were trying to figure out who was who. Like, it was so funny. Okay. Here's the inside. It's like gooey. I think it's supposed to be orange. Anyway, so yeah, it was nice to get a new family. I feel like not only did I add my niece to my family, but even her mom and her siblings and her nieces and nephews, you know, I feel like are mine. I don't know if I want to try this one. It's like this piece of candy that like has white stuff all over it. So that last one is kind of interesting. Let's see. I think I showed you the picture. So this thing, it's like orange tasting. It's not bad. This I feel like I've had before. Then there's some little fruit mix. That I, again, not going to open. But yeah, so that's how my family, like, I've added so many to my family. Since my dad passed away, I have found another cousin who's like in her 80s who I just absolutely adore. And so she and I have become close due to that. And so that's been really interesting. I think she's in her 80s or 90s. And I swear, guys, she has more energy than most of us. So that's been really awesome. So, okay, last one, guys. And it's like I don't know if it's a Nutella. So give me 1 minute. We're going to put it on my finger and try it. Yeah, that's like a Nutella. So that is the last of the box, guys. And I hope you enjoyed checking them out with me and my story. Talk to you guys later. Bye.